Chester,
Okay.
you are standing in front of the door to the engine room.
Okay. I've got my dead baby cradled in one hand,
You
and the flare gun with one flare left in the other.
You might remember there were some people behind this door.
Mm-hmm.
Burly men.
Yeah.
Coal shoveler types.
Yeah.
Alright.
Well, he's armed with a child and flare.
Okay. I open the door.
Alright.
And where am I in the room?
You are standing on a walkway that is 2 stories up from the main floor of the engine room. And there are some very dirty looking coal shoveler types down there shoveling coal.
Perfect.
Cool. I try and get down to them.
All
I
right.
guess.
They seem to not be paying too much attention to you. Not at all, in fact. And you walk down to the next level, and basically it's one of these like Z type of things that you walk down and you cut down.
Sure.
When you cut to the next level below, so you're only 1 story above them, and you look down, you realize that these people shoveling coal are probably animated corpses. Like they look like dirty and like messy and stuff like that, but when you get lower you realize that they're
also rotting.
They're also slightly rotting, and some of them have like some gaping holes in places that look like you couldn't still be alive.
Man.
Or you should at least be bleeding.
What the
They're
fuck?
also wearing uniforms that look like they used to be Navy men. But they're not uniform. Like they're not all wearing the same type of thing. Like one guy looks like he's wearing some sort of like galley chef's outfit that's been like torn and like decayed and falling off. Another person is wearing something that makes him look like he may have been a first officer at one point, but it's also all like shredded and dirty, and part of his pant leg is gone.
The original Rad Boys.
Well, there goes the plan.
There's an Indian and
in the Navy. So there goes the plan of threatening them and also offering them freedom.
Yeah, they seem to be much more interested in making sure the coal gets into the engines. And by engines, I mean these big stoking fire things.
Wow.
I holler down at them. Hey, you! Do they look up?
You yell a few, and there seems to be a little bit of a reaction, like they're kind of noticing, and they turn in such a way that it looks like they may be paying attention, but then if you don't keep yelling, they return to their work.
Okay.
By the way, now that you're down here, you can see very clearly on like the big steam piping there at the top that there's a big marquee that says SS Brad Boyne.
But
do you have any history?
Yes.
Or knowledge of history?
Yes, I do.
Boyne?
Please.
Brad Boyne.
That is a failure with a 62.
Okay. You vaguely remember that the Brad Boyne was an old cargo ship that was lost at sea. You think you read a story about it in the paper at one point, but you can't think of any details.
Huh. Well, that's weird. But, I mean, this is all pretty weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, for the corpses.
Dead sailors, dead ship, whatever.
Yeah, could be just a very good disguise. You are standing a story up. Maybe it's just like the steam or the tears in your eyes.
All right. Well, they don't appear to be paying any attention to me.
Not really.
I'm going to size up the machinery. What would be the easiest way to overload it and cause a giant explosion?
That would not be easy. Ships of this type are such that you would need to build up a huge head of steam, which means you would need to turn like off a bunch of gaskets and then have them keep shoveling coal and building up a really, really high pressure, and it wouldn't be quick. It would take some time for it to build up enough pressure, and then they would have to keep shoveling, and then nobody would have to know this for anyone to come down and like relieve the pressures.
Okay.
Like the whole process would take maybe an hour or so. For it to get to that point.
They might not notice.
They might not notice.
Just keep shoveling.
These guys may not know this, but there will be alarms that go off if the ship like reaches some critical level of.
Is it the sort of thing that I could disable?
Maybe if you are an engineer,
Yeah.
if you put down the dead baby and like have some time to look at the systems.
Can't compromise. Gotta hold that baby.
Yeah, you can. If you get down there and there's no one that interferes with you, and you make some successful rolls, you may be able to do so.
Okay. Well, I'm sort of realizing that this is maybe not the most well thought out plan, but I also don't have anything else to do.
You can mourn.
1920s
Yeah, you could
engineering
get
is
over
not.
it.
It's
I'm
a
gonna.
little pre-big red button day.
All right. I'm gonna go for it. I'm gonna
cremate your baby.
start wandering around these
Oh, yeah.
catwalks and start closing valves. I figure I'll figure out the alarm system after.
Okay. Initially, there doesn't seem to be any. The coal shovelers seem to not be paying much attention to you.
Okay.
So you have a little bit of time to turn valves and stuff like that. Turns out shutting down valves is pretty easy.
Yeah.
So it doesn't take you long to realize that you've gotten to the point where pretty soon the ship will slow down and people will begin to notice that the ship is not moving anymore. Or at least slowing down so that if someone is in the bridge, they will notice that there's like losing power.
Does it take on the order of like 10 minutes or like an hour for it to slow down to a stop?
Oh, it'll take like an hour. Well, maybe not quite an hour, but closer to an hour to stop.
Okay.
Like, it will start to slow down.
People will
and
notice that it's slowing down. But...
Right, and the bridge will notice that there's like they're running out of like energy for some reason.
Okay.
Like basically, there are pressure gauges that you can read from the bridge, and you can see if pressure drops, so that it's no longer like getting enough power.
Okay. Then step 2, I think, is to barricade doors. See if I can't do that. And then step 3 will be disable alarms.
Okay, so the main difficulty of barricading the door is not so much that you can't find all kinds of piping and things like that. There's just tons of it lying around. The main problem is that the door is one of these big turdy wheel things.
Mm-hmm.
And so basically, being able to jam something in there in such a way that is stable and easily held open is arbitrarily like 80% effective, but also 20% you can never really be sure because it's round.
Sure.
And so you're sticking a pipe through there and you go, well, this will probably hold, but there's a good maybe 1 in 5 chance that if someone on the other side jostles it, it would just like fall or something like that.
Okay. Well,
And there's not anything to like brace it against or anything. Like there's not like a doorknob to stick a chair under or anything like that.
sure. Well, do you want me to roll some rolls or?
Yes, if you are trying to do some engineering, like if you want to try to turn off any indicators, what you can do is you can turn off indicators, but you won't be able to create indicators that give false information.
Okay.
So you can't make it seem like the pressure is up,
Sure.
even when it's down.
I will do my darndest to turn off all the indicators.
All right.
So I have both mechanical repair and heavy machinery.
This is gonna be heavy machinery.
Okay. It's a little bit low risk that, but
Oh,
there is a
wow.
0-1.
Oh my god.
This is surprisingly similar to exactly the kind of machines that you have in the factory.
Same manufacturer.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
it turns out that steam
We're
heat
so dead now.
boilers are pretty universal in their
A
basic
whole lot to it.
construction. Yes. So it turns out that you can easily shut down the gauges.
Good old
It's
modernity.
like, look, I just turned all these things. It's like it's pretty uniform. I've seen this before.
Industrial Revolution.
Yep.
And
This brought you by
the
Industrial Revolution.
like so now that I've like gotten down and wandered around the floor, the dead guys definitely look like dead guys.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
It's definitely not just the steam.
Yes.
Okay.
You've also learned from mucking around that it seems like they will only respond and react to you if you get super close to them.
Okay.
Like, if you stay at least 5 to 10 feet away, they will just keep shoveling coal and ignoring you.
And if I get close, they
Start to pay attention to you and try to engage you.
like to attack me.
Yeah, like they raise their shovels and stuff like that.
Okay.
But if you get far enough away, they seem to lose interest and go back to doing their job.
Very
Okay.
basic orders.
So there's one last thing I have to do, and that is find an open furnace and place my son into it.
There are open furnaces everywhere.
Okay, I find one
Yes. Yeah.
and cremate my son.
Alright, you would have to throw him in from a bit of a distance because the flames are super hot. And
That's-
if you want to get close enough to place him in there,
You can't just like hold the baby.
Yeah.
yeah,
I
it's super hot.
So an attack.
in a strange twist of fate,
You
I toss
miss.
it.
Okay.
And worse, you can't even get close to your
Does
baby
the fire
now.
dodge the baby?
Does he miss the fire?
You miss, it lands, and it's
Yeah.
so close to the fire you can't even recover.
Yes.
Hear that.
You. I'm not gonna make you roll that. It's too horrible and
Okay.
tragic, and our viewers would never forgive us. But you are struck by the irony that you have to throw the baby in order to. But yes, you managed to pitch it into the flames.
Oh my god,
Okay.
we're awful.
And then I take my last flare and I find something I could use as a melee weapon,
Okay.
though I'm not very strong.
Just
Oh wow.
And I sit down to wait.
All right. So back on the deck. You grab the torch.
right.
The Crusades have begun. And I start walking in the direction that Bertrand pointed towards the stateroom.
I follow.
All right, there's no stopping him.
I follow
guess.
behind him.
All right.
I follow behind him.
As you approach the staterooms, you see Azel standing there in front of the doors.
Azel.
What?
Is it just the door to the stateroom is just right there? Like,
No, this is
there's
the door-
No hallways.
Oh no, this is the door from the deck
I decided
to
to
the
follow
stairway
him. I don't know about
downstairs
you.
to where
Okay.
the staterooms are. And she's standing there in the deck now. She looks like she's still a little bit like out of it, but also like not entirely unconscious anymore. Like she's coming out of a stupor or a fog
Right.
of some kind. But she definitely looks like she's not sure where she is, and
Azel,
like
I would like to talk to
so your first
Okay,
vision is
right,
number one,
right.
it's very dark.
Him. Okay.
And
This is-
it's very like murky, and you feel like you have the worst hangover. Like
oh,
like
okay.
you've been in enough situations in life where you sort of know this feeling, and it like you feel like you have a splitting headache, and you almost feel like you might be hallucinating because you see a person that looks like Father Gregory, but he's like some kind of weird like cartoon version of him. He's like his shirt is ripped off. He's like covered in blood. It might be a nightmare because you're also pretty sure you're like outside and like there's
Okay.
wind blowing. You can smell the ocean.
No.
It might be a dream, or you might be having a vision because none of this looks like a normal thing. Like you're pretty sure you're supposed to be sitting in a car waiting for some people to come out of a building. And
Okay.
yeah, it's also nighttime.
Oh,
I'm pretty
okay.
sure it was like kind of day when you were.
Okay, I will feel for a wall and lean against it. And when did I drink this much? Where am I? Am I? Is this real?
I definitely go towards her. Azel, you are awake.
Azel, are you all right?
Yeah, how did you escape?
Where am I?
You are on a cruise ship.
A cruise
I don't
ship.
think I saw
That's
this
probably
cruise
where I
ship.
got all the drinks
This is
from.
the worst cruise I've
Yeah.
ever been on.
When did we get on a cruise ship?
The people who are after us have brought us here, but if we can provide them with the piece of paper, they will let us go.
I
And
have to-
Father
Well, that's
Gregory,
leaving out a
Over.
lot of details.
Did they
Paper?
definitely promise that?
They
We
Cannot
were all
believe the words of a
kidnapped.
witch, for every
What?
utterance is but a lie.
We were kidnapped
I can
by
agree with you
Nigel
there.
Oakenforth
Right.
and
Okay.
that little
I
girl.
just feel hungover.
I whisper. I want to whisper something.
So Bertrand comes
Sweet
close
nothing.
and steps in
Okay.
between the father and you, and leans in very close to say
Alexander is
something.
just like
Okay.
panicking in the background, rambling.
Too chill.
I can't calm down right.
No matter what happens, my primary objective is to keep you and I alive. And I'm afraid, I'm afraid that one of these imbeciles will fuck it up.
What?
But for now, you have to trust me. And I love you. I do not know if you love me. If you do not love me, I understand. But my heart, it has nothing but you.
The hand that is holding your hand seems very real, but this is becoming more surreal and more like a vision.
Oh my god.
You are more confused than ever.
Alright.
But you're pretty sure you can smell cigarette. You can
Cigarette.
smell.
I
seed.
reek of
Like-
cigarette smoke.
Cigarettes and brandy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe there's some blood in the
It's
background.
really uncertain. Like you're,
Oh,
Oh,
and
you're being basically like overwhelmed by sensation right
Burn
now.
Okay.
oils.
I think I need a cigarette.
I offer her a
I
cigarette.
take
Yeah.
a cigarette.
Oh, yeah.
I will light the cigarette and sit down where I am and
Alright.
try to get like a slight bearing of
I
what
sit
is
with him.
around
Yeah.
me.
So the four of you are now standing around. Azel sits down in front of the door.
5 of us?
I sit down with her.
Well, then,
3,
then
4 in
five.
front of
Yeah, there's
five.
4 of
Azel.
you around her.
Right.
Yes.
And then Bertrand sits down next to her, so they're both leaning against the door. If it wasn't for the 3 of you also being here, this would be like one of those romantic comedy scenes where they
Alright.
talk about
This is
how-
really
Time
eternal.
to-
Like right outside
Eternal
the door.
sunshine.
Yeah, they're both leaning with their backs against the door, like just sitting there.
And I'm
Time
like
to ruin the
touching
moment.
the ground.
Push
like,
open the
trying
door
to
And the
feel
3 of you
like-
are.
Storm the castle.
The ground feels solid and real.
Okay.
Azil, our truce still stands. I hope you also believe it still stands, but I need you out of the way.
You look terrible. what have you been doing? What?
He looks
Is this
horrible
real?
with the torchlight in his face. He might be a demon. Like it's like horror.
No.
Sanity check.
What
We all had to
happened
roll
you?
Step away from the door so I may proceed.
Ah.
Although I do not wish for him to move forward, I think it best we sit somewhere else.
I like scoot over to where I'm not. In front
Yeah,
of the
we're gonna
door.
scoot away.
But I'm
from
Alright, so you can scooch off to the side.
and I'm still like, I'm like staring at you, trying to figure out if you're like, I'm just really staring at you, Like
It's hard to look away. It's like it's like a car wreck.
like, what is, like I'm also trying to figure out if you're like real or not, or if you're just, are you alive?
As you get
Is
close
this
to
real
certain
life?
real, it smells so real.
Ah,
Yeah, it
Ew.
smells like
No.
terrible. It was like blood and
what is
oil and
on you?
grime
I'm
and
sticky
sweat.
looking.
it's like
He was
Thank you.
boxing for like half an hour.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Thank you for getting out of the way. Now, my
Oh.
friends,
Oh.
let us say a prayer as we go into battle.
No, thank
I'll
you.
yell it and I'll repeat it loudly so
No,
you will
thank
learn the
you.
words properly.
No,
I
thank
open the
you.
door and I start yelling a
Just
prayer.
repeat it. Are
No,
we?
thank
Repeat
you.
with me.
Right.
I'm not repeating it anymore.
Thank you.
Into the breach.
Well, Can I lean around to see in
Yeah.
the door?
Well,
Just like
it
this?
depends. So first of all, Father
Just
Gregory
open
opens the
in and
door
out.
and just goes down with like purpose, like loudly chanting.
Oh my God.
Doing a short
Look.
prayer, maybe like a few lines, doing it on repeat.
Azil, he is going to die in there if we don't follow. Do you know anything that could help us
If we follow
about
them,
witchcraft?
we're gonna
about
die too.
About witchcraft?
about what he's up against?
Is,
I'm an occultist. Not a,
is
I
there
don't know anything
anything?
about witchcraft?
Is there anything that you can do that would give us the knowledge to know where the paper might be?
Oh, I can.
You can speak with the dead. Can we not learn something that would help us?
I
Can
can
you
try
speak-
tap in with my spiritual like power to see
If you could speak to the dead, could you speak to Tristan?
I don't know if it's the right.
Or do
If
you have
it's-
the strength to do that?
I
You
mean,
are-
I don't know what's going on.
Make
right
your
now.
mythos roll.
Ooh, my.
Oh wait, you don't have any mythos
No.
yet because you still have your sanity.
I know.
Uh, wait,
I'm
don't-
sorry.
Wait, do we
I
get
have-
mythos with loss of sanity?
Do we
I
have
mean,
this
I've
already?
lost
No, sorry.
some
Oh, okay.
sanity.
I thought you
I
were
was trying to say a cult.
I have
Oh,
a
yeah.
cult.
Oh,
yeah
Yes.
That's right.
I have
Yeah.
a cult.
a cult.
A cult.
Does Dan gain mythos? He
Okay.
sacrificed his son to
And
the fire
lost the
god.
life.
His son's dead.
Where the heck is that? I
People,
never-
people
oh, there it
incinerate
is.
their dead
Okay.
all the time. It's
I
not bad.
suppose.
If
If
it was
anything,
alive,
it brought
maybe.
closure.
Who knows?
Okay.
How
so
are you
what is
reading
that?
those dice?
They're very
Right?
tiny.
Okay, it is a 74, and I fail because I have a 70.
Oh.
in the cult. I
I
fail
show him
by
the tiny
4
dice.
points.
Well, you are very lethargic right now.
no.
And you're using
Not in the
dice that
best state.
nobody can see.
I can see it.
All right.
There.
You're gonna regret it when your snake eats them.
No, I won't feed them to my
Aw.
snake.
Whis-
You
Whiskers.
say that now. I bought a whole bunch of little D6s. Do you know how many of them I've lost? Like every one of them.
Yeah.
It's like they're
You have a snake?
They're
No,
cute.
you know who carries? You know what happens to those D6s? You know those big spiders that live in your house? They carry them off. They're like,
Like, ooh, a little bug.
I knew it.
it turns out you
That's
cannot
what
buy
happened to my
dice that
keys.
small. Like anything that can come into your house will take them.
It'll be a triumph to have them survive.
Yeah, they need them for their RPG session.
That's awesome.
I don't want it to be big.
No, I
spiders.
literally
need a
found
lot
one-
of dice.
Could be
I
anything but-
literally found one in a spider web
My
one time, so
spider
I've
D&D
been
room?
telling this
Yeah.
story that a spider carried it off,
Whoa.
although I'm sure it probably just accidentally dropped over there. But it was in the spider web, and like, oh, a spider carried off one of my D6s. Alright, let's see if Tristan speaks to the dead.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
When you bring up that Azel should use her powers to speak with the dead
I brought
Tristan.
that up.
Oh, when
But I'm in love with him.
So you get credit.
yeah, sorry,
That's fine.
I,
You'll steal
He
it.
has a 50% chance to steal
You
your best
now,
lines.
you now
Yeah.
are the accompanying cast to the lead actor and actress.
Oh, great.
Just kidding.